4 years ago, I was dancing at my granddaughter's wedding. Now look at me 4 years later. I couldn't dance at nothing. I love it here. Get out there, I'd be snowballing. But I can't do those things anymore. You know, when they took my rights away from me, I don't think I'll ever feel the same about people, especially doctors. I plainly told them no resuscitation of any kind. I didn't want it. And my girls understood that, and they were at peace with that. God was ready for me, and I was ready for him.
We've always been aware of Mother's beliefs. Mom's never wanted resuscitated as far as CPR or placed on a machine. Mom believes when it's her time to go, there should be no interference by man. That's between her and God, and she is very adamant about that. And so I am Mom's medical power of attorney. So I have always made sure that there has been a directive in place so those things are adhered to and that they weren't violated. Mom was having the scope done. Our thought was we would go in, she would have the scope, we'd leave. I had physically given the advance directive to that hospital. I did ask the lady that was doing the intake if she needed a copy of that, and she said no, it was there on file. They take Mom out for the procedure. The lady come out and called. I go back to the recovery room, and Mom was there by herself, obviously in distress. She had oxygen, and she said, "Sherry, I'm not gonna make it. I can't breathe." And I said, "It'll be okay. Just try to stay calm." She said, "You tell your sister and them girls I love them." And I had to accept that because I knew.
I can remember them coming in and telling me goodbye when I told Sherry I wasn't going to make it. I remember those girls coming in, kissing me and telling me goodbye. And I told them I love them. But I was ready. I couldn't lie to them. I was ready. And they knew that.
Then someone come back in and she says, "Well, we're going to go ahead and admit her." And Linda came up to the floor and I told her what happened and that they were going to admit Mom. And we heard a code blue. The PA that was in there came out and she says, "Oh, I was just looking for you." And she said, "Well, we intubated." I said, "You what?" I said, "My mother is a DNR. What do you mean you intubated her? My mother's not supposed to have tubes."
Tubes in my neck, in my arms.
Linda and I are in stone silence trying to absorb what just happened, because that shouldn't have happened. The advance directive was done. I physically provided it twice. I was probably 100 feet away from that recovery room in the waiting area. No one come to get me. No one come to ask me nothing. And they knew I was the medical power of attorney. So here, you've intubated my mother, going against every grain of that lady's being. And it was my responsibility to make sure that that didn't happen. With every fiber of my being, I wanted my mother to live, but that wasn't my mother's wishes.
Before, I could get up and do anything. I could go out in that snow. I could go in that kitchen. I can cook anything. I could bake anything. I could clean my house. I can't do none of that no more. And that really bothers me.
You don't really know what to say in a situation like that other than we shouldn't be here. Not that, we'd ever want her to pass away, but I just want her to have a little bit of dignity in what she wanted at the end of her life, not what somebody else wanted. You abide by the rules. You consider people's rights. I'd never think that it would be taken away from you like that. And, I'm 64. I don't want to go into none of those hospitals because I want the same thing she does.
Something needs to change. I don't know how anyone could feel secure going in for any procedure, even something as simple as a scope, and think that their advance directive is going to be adhered to. It's not worth the paper it's written on. And my mother's sentenced to what's left of her life of suffering. She has horrible burning sensations, can't breathe, has to rely on oxygen. It's never anything that she wanted.
The families didn't make up this registry. It's their own registry. And they don't even know how to pay attention to it, or they don't have to. And I hope I can advocate to find out why, because I know other families has been in the same position and there was no one to help them. But there is now.
And compassion and choices, I hope, can make a difference. I hope they can bring enough public awareness that this stops.
I wouldn't be suffering here like I am now if they just left me alone. That's all I would have asked, just left me alone. Don't take my religion away from me. It's just not right. And I'm going to fight as hard as I can fight. I really am.